The Salvation Army is calling on the community for more donations for the food bank. Our Leo Cruzat has more.
Bon Jennings has been with Salvation Army for 5 years and is delighted to help people in need of food.
It's good to be able to help people.
Jennings has been giving out food hampers to families and seniors, as well as doing school programs for the children.
We roughly give out between 50 and 60 regular food hampers to families and individuals each week, 20 to 25 to seniors, and we do a program with our public schools here in Lloydminster called Kids Kits, and we give out a bag of groceries to children that they have identified that may not be eating appropriately on the weekends, and we give out around 150, 155 each week to them. So to maintain that, we probably have to purchase 60 to 70% of the food items that we give out.
Despite the continuous desire to help the community, Jennings said that they are facing some challenges at the food bank.
The amount that's coming in that came in January is certainly lower than what came in December.
The organization is looking for more donations such as canned goods, dried pasta, and sugar. Cash donations are also accepted. Salvation Army is looking for more volunteers to help out the food bank, as well as certain items that will help people in this cold weather.
Caps, mittens, toques, it's difficult to have the bigger items. We don't have the storage space for them, but there are those who come from time to time that are looking for.
Despite some challenges that the Salvation Army is currently facing, Jennings is still thankful for the contribution and donations from the community.
I want to say a big thank you to the community of Lloydminster, the businesses, the organizations, and the individuals who supported us financially, and with not only the monetary but the food donation piece as well during Christmas. I just want to say a big thank you for their support and their trust in us to use what they give us to the best of our ability.
Leo Cruzat, Primetime, Local News.
Lloydminster is handing out Saskatchewan Lottery's community grants to 14 different agencies across the city. The grant is intended to go to non-profit community groups on both sides of the border to assist in their respective initiatives. The $86,000 the city obtained is collected from a percentage of Saskatchewan Lottery tickets.
Diverse, as you mentioned, from the number of people that applied or number of organizations that apply to supporting culture and sport. Certainly Special Olympics is one that receives money. Youth programming and various organizations that provide youth programming for our youth.
Despite 14 nonprofits receiving money, Council actually had 22 applications to deliberate over.
And it's quite a lengthy process, so it's not taken lightly. And as usual, we had $157,000 plus requested, and about $86,000, I believe, available, give or take. So that's challenging. There's always more need in our community than there's resources.
Some of the recipients include the Lloydminster Interval Home Society, getting $10,000, and another $10,000 for Special Olympics Lloydminster. Thomas Wildman joins me now. And Thomas, still mild and lots of snow out there. Are we going to see any more over the weekend?
Yeah, we're going to be seeing some interesting things over the weekend here as just because of how the weather's looking. It's going to be a little bit cooler, and but our normals are about average right now, and so it's just going to be pretty typical for the weather right now, and into the weekend it's going to be very similar to that, just because of how the weather's looking right now. As you can see, -6 for today, and the normal is -6. And so with that low, though, we're a little bit cooler than, warmer than usual, with it being at -15 and the usual normal at -18. A little bit of extra less snow than usual at 16.4. We're looking at an average, usually for February, 14.5, but we've got plenty of time to hit that, and we might be seeing that later on in the week. It's plenty cold out there right now, -7 with the wind chill. It's going to be -15 and a 67% chance of humidity, so we might be seeing some snow later on this evening. Taking a look now at Cold Lake, they're sitting at -7. Also with the wind chill, they're getting up to -13 for weather, 67% humidity for them as well. Taking a look now out in Saskatchewan at North Battleford, very similar to us, -7 with the low of with the wind chill. They're getting down to -14 and a humidity at 92% right now. So they're likely going to see either some freezing rain or some snow to finish out today. Taking a look now at the current temperatures across the region here. Cold Lake is sitting at -7, and as we mentioned, Lloydminster at -8 right now. Elsewhere nearby, Cold Lake, Bonnyville is going to be sitting at -6, St. Paul at -8, as is Marwayne. Then as we go further west, Vermilion and Vegreville both sitting at -7. Nice and warm, or at least warmer than it is here. -5 at Edmonton, Lac La Biche at -7, and Wainwright and Provost all at -7. So pretty much across our region here, -7 to -8 here on the Alberta side. Similar in the Saskatchewan side, Pierceland and Green Lake at -6. For the first time in a long time, Green Lake and Meadow Lake are not at the exact same temperature. Meadow Lake at -7. St. Walburg also sitting at -7. Maidstone, North Battleford, and Macklin all at -7. And up top there, Isle of Cross also sitting at a cool -7. Taking a look now at tonight's forecast, Lloydminster is going to be down to -16 for a low, mainly clear and colder, but only a 4% chance of precipitation. So we did have a little bit of snow yesterday, so you'll need to pull out the shovels for a very brief moment. Hopefully we won't be seeing much more of that as the rest of the weekend comes around. North Battleford is going to be a little bit colder than us as well, -18, partly cloudy, much colder. Still only a 7% chance of precipitation out there in Saskatchewan. And finally, Cold Lake sitting at -21 for this evening. Clear to partly cloudy and colder, but like the rest of us, not going to be likely seeing any chance of snow out there. Taking a look now at our weekend forecast here. Saturday, it's going to be -6 with a low of -8. Then on Sunday, we're going to get some really nice temperatures for Super Bowl Sunday, of course. 1 degree, breezy a little bit in the morning there, low of -10, so a little bit colder as the day goes on. And then Monday, we're going to get down to -3 with a low of -9, and we'll see how that turns out as we get later into the week. Nice and cloudy on Monday. But that will do it for our first look at the weather forecast. We will have some more news headlines after the break.
The best masters, curlers in the province are in Lloydminster this weekend, all hoping to represent Team Saskatchewan at Nationals in Quebec. Our Ben Lowan has more.
The Lloydminster Curling Club was buzzing Thursday as the Masters Provincials kicked off. 10 men's teams and 10 women's teams took to the ice in hopes of moving on in the tournament. Games were close and key plays were made in high-pressure situations. Masters Curling has been on the rise in Saskatchewan, and Community Development Coordinator Jamie Rieger is excited to see where it's going.
And the Masters, it's a really good age competition. There's a lot of new curlers and a lot of good curlers in it, like Eugene Hurwitzik. You've got Tracy Streifel, and you got a lot of good curlers here. So it's going to be a really weekend, a really good week of curling here.
These tournaments are also good for the clubs that run them. Just last month, they hosted the Aztec Safety Challenge, which brought in multiple teams from the Olympics, and that success has helped the Lloydminster Curling Club continue to grow.
The Aztec event was probably the biggest event as a club we've put on in a long time, and we just saw so much success with that event. That event alone was able to bring in over $50,000 plus of funds, legacy equipment, capital equipment into the facility. So we're really happy with how that event went, and high school zones. It's just been amazing to see all these events wanting to come to Lloydminster, and that we've been able to pull them off with the team we have here.
The teams in the tournament will look to get out of the round robin stage and qualify for Sunday. The top 4 teams will compete in the semifinals with the winners of each match qualifying for the gold medal game. But no matter the competition, everyone is still supporting one another.
All the teams that are here, they're competing for the top chance. And like I said, there's only one men's and one women's team standing at the end of the weekend here. So at the end of the weekend, we'll all be cheering our teams on and representing us well, wearing the green jacket.
The tournament will continue till Sunday, where the semifinals will be played at 9 a.m. and the finals at 2. For Primetime Local News, I'm Ben Lowan.
It's time now to take a look at all of the pet pictures that you've been sending in to us for our pets of the day.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name and have them featured on Pet of the Day.
Today Today I'm joined by Aaron Buckingham, the fire chief of the Lloydminster Fire Department, and he is here today to talk about the Battle of the Badges, which will be a charity hockey game between the Lloydminster Fire Department and the Lloydminster RCMP coming up in March. So thank you so much for being with me today,
Thanks
Aaron.
for having us.
All right, so Aaron, for those who are unaware, what exactly is the Battle of the Badges hockey game?
So it goes back a few years. The Battle of the Badges was something that the two protective services branches, or two of the protective services branches in the city, wanted to do to just have some fun, but at the same time, help out some kind of local charities. It's got a little more heartfelt, I think, over the years because one of Lloydminster's longtime former fire chiefs passed away, and the actual game now is called the Todd Gustafson Memorial Battle of the Badges. So I think it's got a whole new meaning from what it initially started out to be, but just a lot of fun.
And so this is a charity hockey game, so what charities are you guys representing and trying to donate to for
Yeah,
this
so
game?
we're getting close to Easter by the time this game happens on March 9th, and I know that food banks always get a really big influx around the Christmas time, but sometimes at Easter time, the food banks will tell you they start to run out of that Christmas donation list. So for us, supporting the Salvation Army and the Olive Tree with those non-perishable food items, that's how you get into the game, by bringing a non-perishable food item, which we'll divvy between those two, or a cash donation, of course, and then Big Brothers Big Sisters as well will be here doing 50-50s, and they'll be the recipients of the proceeds of that.
All right, so Aaron, we were talking a little bit before that this is not your first Battle of the Badges game. You've been part of the team, the cops team before,
Yeah.
and now you're a brand new fire chief here, so you're now on the fire chief team. Just talk to me a little bit about your history with this game and a little bit of a funny instance with your time in the game.
Yeah, so for me, it's not going to be my first game. I did play with the RCMP for a number of years because I'd worked as a guard in the RCMP detachment in cells. Last year, for some reason, I said, hey, when's the game? And they said, well, you didn't make the list, you got cut. So I took that very seriously, because if you look at this trophy, this is the Battle of the Badges trophy. It's RCMP win, RCMP win, RCMP win. I was on those teams. Last year, they cut me, and the fire department won. So I was so angry that I got cut that I quit being a city councilor and did all of these things to join the fire department to play, just to be on the winning side of this again, like the Pat Maroon of the Lloydminster Battle of the Badges.
Excellent. And so you, of course, and the fire department own the trophy right now. What is the fire department going to do to make sure that they can keep we'll talk a little bit of hockey, keep the trophy in their hands for the 2024 game?
You know, I don't think we're too worried about it. We have a pretty good team, and the reason that there are firemen is because policemen need heroes too. So I mean, it's you know, that's how it goes, and we're fairly confident in our team this year. And one of our firefighters, Braden Willard, is organizing this whole thing from our side. So I don't want to take any credit for any of this because it's not me, it's Braden and our team there. They got me to bring the trophy and do the interview, but it's a great team between them and the RCMP folks that are putting this all together for the community, and it'll be a great afternoon on the 9th of March.
Fantastic. And so just finally, once again, Aaron, where is this event going to be taking place, time as well, and just what people need to do to help be part of this Battle of the Badges game?
Yeah, so it'll be Saturday, March 9th, right here at the Centennial Civic Center. Puck drops at 12:30, like we said. Bring a non-perishable food item or a cash donation as your entry to come into the game. There'll be other kinds of fun games and things going on here as well. And then Big Brothers Big Sisters will be doing a 50-50, so bring some cash for that, and we'll all have a great time on March 9th. Puck drop, 12:30.
Perfect. Thank you so much for coming out here today, Aaron, as well, being part of the Battle of the Badges. And be sure to come down to the Centennial Civic Center on March 9th to be part of such a great game. It's going to be a fantastic game between the fire department and the RCMP.
Coming up later on this month, it is the 20th anniversary of the Cutter Rally for Cancer. It's on February 24th, but get your ticket now. Get your ticket before February 14th so that you're in for a chance to win the early bird prize. They're going to make a draw for $500 coming up on February 14th, so get your ticket now. And there's 4 different ways you can take part in the annual Cutter Rally for Cancer: as a teamster, on horseback, as a participant, or by getting your ghost hand. And when you get your ticket, you've got the chance to spend a great day out on the trail and a chance to win the grand prize, which is your choice of a cutter, a harness package, or $2,000 cash. So get your ticket now. Get in for that early bird draw. Head online, cutterrallyforcancer.com for all the details. Agrivisions is coming up next week right here at the Lloyd-X. It runs February 14th and 15th. And you've got an opportunity to take in a number of different presentations. There's going to be presentations about succession planning, drought management, marketing, and so much more. Plus, there's a trade show. And part of Agrivisions is the Heart of the Farm Banquet. That's coming up on February 14th. That features keynote speaker Vance Crowe and also the Hall of Fame award recipient this year, Gene Wobesser. For more details and to get your tickets, head online, LloydEX.com. And Aaron Pritchett is going to be in Lloydminster on Monday night. He'll take to the stage at the Vic Juba Community Theatre as part of his Liquored Up tour. And he says he's really excited to play that song, Liquored Up, because it was co-written by a couple of guys from Kit Scotty. There's still tickets available. Head online, vicjubatheatre.ca. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, we hope you stay safe and stay healthy.
What's Happening is brought to you by Northern Factory Workwear, Circle Drive East, Saskatoon, and Highway 17 South, Lloydminster.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery, downtown Lloydminster.
I'm speaking with Saskatchewan publisher, editor, and author Edward Willett today about Shapers of Worlds, a collection of short stories in the science fiction and fantasy genres. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me on.
You're very welcome. I understand that many of these authors come from an appearance on your podcast, and this is an anthology. So can you tell me about it and some of the authors and their stories?
Well, actually, they all come from my podcast. This is volume 4 in this series, and all of them, a lot of anthologies have a theme. These anthologies have only one theme, which is that I interviewed all these people on my podcast about the creative process. So all of them were guests on my podcast, and the stories therefore run the gamut. There's science fiction, there's fantasy, there's a touch of horror. Some of them are modern day, some of them are far future, some of them are in fantastical worlds. So it's kind of each anthology I try to come up with a different metaphor for it. And for this one, I settled on a church buffet supper. So everybody brought some different dish, but it all adds up to a satisfying whole.
Excellent. Well, I am a fan of the genre, and I guess, the satisfaction is a little bit of escapism. What do you think makes these books so popular?
I think science fiction and fantasy is there are two genres technically, but if you call them the fantastical fiction genre overall, it's the fact that you aren't limited by anything except your imagination. Within science fiction, you're limited sort of by what we understand to be the way that physical laws work, although, as Arthur C. Clarke famously said, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And in fantasy, of course, you can have magic and anything can go, although you have to be internally consistent and set some rules for how you use it. But it's you're just not limited. So anything you can imagine, any situation you can imagine, you can turn into a story in science fiction and fantasy. And that's liberating both as an author and as a reader.
One of the unique features of this anthology is the artwork by Wendy Nordell. Can you tell me a little bit about it? I understand there's a piece for each of the works in the book.
Yes, Wendy is a Calgary artist who happens to be my niece. And back in 2018, I had a collection of poetry, science fiction and fantasy poetry, which grew out of something that kind of a challenge that was issued by the Poet Laureate of Saskatchewan at the time, Gerald Hill, for everybody within the Saskatchewan Writers Guild over Poetry Month, to write new poetry, incorporating a couple of lines of published poetry. And me being me, I wrote science fiction and fantasy poetry. And I knew I wanted to have it illustrated when I decided to publish it. And it was actually my wife that kind of hit me over the head and said, "Your niece is an illustrator." So I brought her on board, and she did such a wonderful job with the illustrations for that. I thought she'd be perfect for this. And so the whole thing was kickstarted, and my stretch goal was to have it illustrated, and I was able to get enough funds to make that happen. And so, yes, she did. She did a unique black and white illustration illustrating each of the 19 stories. The authors love them, and I think they really add something special to the book overall.
Edward, this book was released at the end of January. What's the reception been so far?
Well, it's barely had time to have a reception, but the reviews I've read have been good. There's an online short fiction review site called Tangent Online, who reviews most of the science fiction in the field. and they gave it 10 of the 19 stories made their recommended reading list for the year. And a couple of them, mine included, had their highest rating of 3 stars. So it was very gratifying to get that response. And the reviews that have started to pop up here and there have been positive, and the authors as well really seem to be happy with the result.
I assume as well that the book is available at all good booksellers around the province.
Yes, and I should actually hold it up since I have it here. That's what it looks like, and you can get it at, well, I can't guarantee that any specific bookstore will have it, but any bookstore can certainly order it in, and it's widely available online. Anywhere that you buy books, you'll find it online in both print and ebook formats.
All right. Well, Edward, thank you so much. I look forward to reading it and getting my hands on it. So thanks for your time today, and look forward to seeing it.
Thank you so much.
Alrighty, so we'll take a quick look at our 7-day forecast once again, just to look at this upcoming weekend. Saturday, we're going to see it's going to be -6 with a low of -8, so it'll be about from there throughout all of the day. Some sun and then a little bit of clouds. On Sunday for our Super Bowl, though, we're going to get a high of 1 degree with a low of -10, breezy in the morning, so it should be a nice day to sit down and watch the Super Bowl on Sunday.
Well, the countdown is on for that Super Bowl 58, and the San Francisco 49ers and Kansas City Chiefs are getting set for football's biggest showdown in Las Vegas.
It's chaotic in a good way. You know, obviously the entertainment capital of the world, and to have, you know, one of the biggest events of the year here is really exciting.
The 49ers are hoping to hoist the trophy for the first time since 1995. For the Chiefs, this will mark their 4th Super Bowl appearance in 5 years. More than 70,000 fans are expected to pack Allegiant Stadium. Some will be keeping an eye out for Travis Kelce's girlfriend, Taylor Swift, with people placing wagers on whether the couple will get married at the Super Bowl. There's also excitement over the halftime show by Usher. Any predictions, Thomas?
Well, I do like to partake in some prop betting, just very casual, no big money. But yeah, that'll be an interesting thing to see on the bingo list today. Will Taylor Swift be proposed to, as well as what Gatorade color it'll be?
I don't really care what happens as long as Kansas City wins. Have a good evening, everybody.